My name is Michelle, and this is a YouTube channel about cross stitch. Today is going to be all about the cross stitch. I might mention a few quilts, but we'll see. Welcome to all of you. I think I have some new followers thanks to some mentions on some other Flosstube channels. So glad you're here. As I tend to say, or I have said in the past, the fact that I have one other follower than my mother and my sister and I guess my husband, I think he's subscribed to me, is really fascinating. And I'm here because I didn't know anyone that cross-stitched besides me and my mom, and figured my mom got tired of being the only person I ever talked to about cross-stitch. And so Flosstube has really helped me make a lot of new friends, some really close friends that I'm very thankful for, and that's why I'm here to gab about cross-stitch to all of you, and I'm so glad you're here. Okay, this is going to be what's called a feature-length film today. I have a ton of things to talk about. The last time I was here on Flosstube land was back in April, and yeah, back in April, and I have been stitching my butt off. I've been to 2 retreats. I usually don't do haul, mainly because I get the haul and I put it away. So, bought a lot of stuff. I have framing. I have a lot of FFOs. Me and my friend Lisa of Black Coffee and Grits did a finishing day. Thank you, Lisa, times 1,000. So, let's get to it. We're going to start off with fully finished objects. So that's where you cross stitch, you stitch it up, and then you finish it into something to display, use, give away, whatever. So first off is I have a huge finish. I have a couple huge finishes, and I have it all for you today. I have finishes, starts, whips, all the things. So my first big finish is Adorn Your Heart. This was inspired by Bernadette of Burn Stitches. So thank you, Bernadette. I was able to meet her at Hobby House in April, a week or 2 after I last filmed. And she is the nicest person. Bless her for putting up with all my Instagram messages. And so she inspired me. I was watching her video, hit pause, added to cart, and stitched it up. We took a picture. I'll see if Erin will put in the picture of the 2 of us here. And so let me show you my finish. And I have it framed as well. So I finished it a couple weeks ago and I have it finished now. So here she is in all of her glory. So let me tell you the details. I stuck pretty much to the called for, but as you can see, that big house is purple. So this is stitched on 40 count vellum by Picture This Plus, and like I said, you know what, I have made a couple changes. So I left a few things out. There was supposed to be a little tree right here. Didn't stitch that. This was supposed to be a little angel baby. So where that crown is sorry, let me get the light. Was supposed to be a little angel baby. I put the crown there. On the left, I did stitch all those words, and that was quite the, mountain for Michelle to climb over. And I stitched those in purple. I moved the crown, as you can see, over on this side, and then I just put in some of those little extra stars. So I stitched the words in a purple. It's a Color and Cotton exclusive that I got in a box, I think. The words, and then I changed these stars to dark purple as well. And then the house is Gentle Arts Sweet Pea. Everything else is the same, and I absolutely love it. I got this framed at the Peanut Gallery in Aubrey, and I picked it up yesterday. So I was so happy that they got it framed so fast, 2 weeks, and glad that it is in my possession. I can't wait to hang it up. So maybe we'll leave that right here to be with us the rest of the episode. Okay, so, and I did bring this to Hobby House, where I did meet Paulette Stewart and Beth Twist, and Paulette happily signed this. I think I'm actually going to cut out the back and put it on the back of the frame, just so these are together and will be forever. Okay. Okay, let's get down to some FFOs. Now, some of these finishes are super old, and so I apologize if I don't remember all the details. I'm looking at the first one, and I don't remember who the person was that the pattern was by, but I'll do my darndest. All right, so first up is one of my oldest cross stitches. Is this cute little heart pattern. I know that the designer is the one who works with Sherry McConnell. It's like counting your stitches or something like that. And I love this. I stitched it on, I'm sure, a 14 count Aida. And this was one of the finishes that me and Lisa did together. So thank you, Lisa. It's just on this little board, plain and simple. I'm here for a simple finish, y'all. Next up is a fat quarter shop. Again, I don't know the name of the pattern, but it was a charity cross-stitching quilt. I do have the quilt to do as well. My friend Allie has finished the quilt and gotten it quilted, and it's amazing. I think Mom finished the quilt, but I, alas, am the only one who finished the cross-stitch. So it was free. I used DMC. This is on, I'm sure, a 14 count navy Aida, and I finished it in the frame that Kimberly Jolly, KJ, as I like to call her, finished it in. So thank you, Lisa. She helped me with that one too. Okay, next is one of my absolute favorite finishes. This was one of the first stitches I ever did when I picked it back up. So this year there's like a collection of cross-stitch designers that use like the same thread set, and then a bunch of people design cross stitches to use those threads. So this was a few years ago. It used Treenway silks, I believe. I'd never used silk before. I stitched on 14 count Aida, so I ate up those silks. And I cannot remember who the designer was, but I did get the finishing piece as well. Oh my God, adorable is that? And it's on 14 count. I think I gave the rest of the Aida to Lisa. I think it was Coco by Fiber on a Whim, Picture This Plus, something or other. And I stitched it with those silks. I remember I worked at a different college at the time. And I remember I went to a conference with a student, one of my honor students, and I remember stitching this on the flight back after her presentation. So isn't that the cutest thing you've ever seen? I love it. I love it so much. And I had measured it and made sure that it was going to fit in this finishing piece. Please don't ask me where that finishing piece came from. I have absolutely no idea. This was years ago that I bought this. I remember getting it and saying, "Hey, Aaron, can we figure out how to finish this in here?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, sure." And then, 2 years goes by, and Lisa helped me figure out how to do it. So it fits in there perfect. I love it so much. I love to read and I love to drink coffee. So let me set this down very gently somewhere so that it doesn't get hurt. Okay, next is, I had shown you this last episode, I'm sure, but I have been stitching Gather Wildflowers by Hand On Design. And so I finished 2 of them, and I just went ahead and fully finished them. This is the first one. And I did get these paddles. They were designed to go on these. I just hot glued them down. I'm just not in a place where I think I'm going to stitch these anymore, so there's the first one. And here's the second one with my over 1 words. Lisa told me, "Get a hoop, Michelle," and I said, "Yes, ma'am." And I managed to finish this up a couple weeks ago. I painted it brown. The cover has it painted on a black, and then I used this really pretty light blue rickrack. I'm sure it's from, you know what, it might be from Color and Cotton. Almost said I'm sure it's from Lady Dot Creates, but who knows at this point. Oh, let me tell you about my shirt. How cute is this? So I'll tell you about my strawberry stitches later, but this is from Lizzie House. She was a fabric designer for Andover a long time ago, and then she stopped because she was raising her children, and she came back last year, I believe, as a designer for Moda, and I'm so excited. She's one of my favorite designers. She designs these mini pearl bracelet fabrics that are the cutest things in the entire world. Anyways, this is a shirt from her with this cute little strawberry on it, and figured it was appropriate for June with Strawberry Moon style. Okay, next is this. How cute is this? This is a stackable from Fat Quarter Shop. I think it's the May stackable. I stitched it on 14 count pink gingham, and I did just glue it down to the board. I just don't see myself ever stitching any of these again. I have a couple other patterns, but again, not into this 2-stranded stitching, 14 count Aida, but it does fit on here perfectly. And the blue, I got it in Indiana. I couldn't tell you what the fabric designer is, but it is really cute. So I had a good time stitching it, I remember. My mom is stitching a bunch of them, and so hers will look great. All right, and then I have a couple more fully finishes. This, oh my God, this is my tale of woe. I started stitching, this again was an early cross stitch. This is a Lori Holt Christmas pattern. And, you know, Lori Holt was my gateway into cross stitch, I would say. And this is stitched on a 14 count glittery gold Aida I got from Joann's, I'm sure. I did stitch it with, I'm pretty sure the called for floss. I was worried that my white wasn't going to show up, and now I think it would have been fine. So I ended up outlining the Santa and the snowman in a gray. And thank you, shout out to Lisa for sewing those buttons on. I had tried to sew them on, and I was using that invisible fishing wire thread kind of, and they just weren't sticking down because I was like, I didn't want to change colors to match the buttons because I thought that was the rule. And so I go to Lisa's house and we're looking at this. This frame is just from Hobby Lobby. It was in their sale section. As you can see, it's a little bit damaged. Let me get this dog hair. It's a little bit damaged down here, but it's all right. And Lisa just went to town and sewed those buttons on for me. So partially done by Michelle, finished by Lisa. So, because I was about to leave them off, the buttons were falling off that I had already put on, my Lord. So, anywho, thank you, Lisa. And as you can see, you know, it doesn't all quite line up. I had started in the middle and somehow gotten off, and oh, yeah. So anyways, but I did it, I finished it, and now at Christmas time, I will happily display this. I remember sitting at our dining room table and stitching on it while Aaron's family was over before his grandfather passed away last year, and you know, they're all probably thought it was crazy. They're playing games and I'm over there stitching at the kitchen table. So there are some, you know, nice memories attached to this of Aaron and his family. So anywho, there's that. Okay, now let me show you, a couple random finishes here. I had stitched, these are the Valentine's Day ornaments by It's So Emma. And I had stitched a couple. I have a couple more to finish, but I didn't have any more of the little rounds. So here's the coffee cup. I love that one. Here's the truck. As you can see, yes, it's not finished perfectly because I didn't give myself enough margin to lace. So this is kind of janky. And then I have the little camera. So cute. I did use the called for, except for the fabric, because they were stitching it on 25 count Lugana, and at the time I didn't know how to stitch over 2. So I just picked a 14 count Aida as a gray, and I still think it looks pretty good. Okay. Now, this is another framed piece I got back, who knows, April, May. This is by Heart and Hand. This is the Collector's Heart 2025. I think I had shown you this finished, but I did get the framing back and I am obsessed. I stitched it on 36 count Sleeping Bear. Tara from Silly Stitches did the same thing and I stole her idea. I did not use all the called for because I didn't have them all, but I think it looks pretty similar to what it is on the thing. And I use this lovely green frame. Again, I got it framed at the Peanut Gallery. You can see that. So I love that as well. I love the sentiment. Okay, then I was watching the Museum Stitcher the other day, and she talked about her finishes she bought from our LNS that sadly closed, the Stitch Niche. And Lisa and I went there the first day. We were lucky and had a lot of finishes to pick from, had a lot of stuff to pick from. We picked up a few items, but I picked up this Plum Street sampler. And I don't know what it's called. I'm sure something related to Hello Fall, but it looks like it was stitched on a 36 count in my opinion. And I absolutely love it. I couldn't believe it that this was available. It was only $30, people, maybe 25. I couldn't believe it. Picked it right up. So I love it. I love it. I love it. I cannot wait to hang this up. It doesn't have any hanging things to put on there. I think it was displayed at the shop on like an easel, and so I don't want to do that. So I will put some some hanging things on it and hang it up very proudly. I love it so much. Another look. So there's one Plum Street I don't have to stitch. Now, I will lovingly entitle this Flosstube Plum Street Palooza, because as we dive into my regular finishes, you will see that I have had quite the obsession with Plum Street samplers. I have a whole bag full of all the Plum Streets that I own, that I have, that are kitted up. I was gonna get my whips, but that's another problem. Another journey for another day. So, but you will see that I have been obsessed with Plum Streets lately. So, now let's talk about my finishes. My stitched finishes that haven't been fully finished. So, the first one, that hot off the presses a few days ago, is Always Remember. Now you might be thinking, Michelle, I didn't pin you for a patriotic gal. And I really am not. I don't tend to stitch a lot of patriotic. I have stitched some, let me put that disclaimer in there. But when I was at Hobby House, I saw this. I saw the model. I loved the blue fabric. Loved, loved, loved it. Picked it up, stitched it. Brooke, where you at, girl? I'm just kidding. All right. So I did bring my board, and I did bring some clips, so we'll see how speedy I am with the clipping situation, and if I'm not speedy enough, I will just stop the clips. All right, so here she is. You might be thinking, wow, Michelle, that looks very different from the picture you just showed us. That would be correct. So let me tell you about my changes. I took out the words because I do not like stitching words. I took out that eagle on the top because it didn't make sense if I didn't stitch the words to have that eagle kind of sticking up. And then I took out the American flag. Now, some other changes I made was the color of the house. So the color of the house was Tennessee Red Clay and Used Brick by Classic Colorworks. I changed it to, I made the stars Cornflower by Gentle Arts, and the grayish silver of the house is Thundercloud by Classic Colorworks. And the color of the door, thanks to my creative director Lisa, I think I used Tennessee Red Clay. Everything else is called for. I stitched this on 36 count Earl Grey by Grace Notes Fabrics. It's this lovely navy blue. And I stitched it on 36 because I was worried about seeing it on the 40 count, and I don't know if they had 40 count, so my other dilemma. Isn't she lovely? And of all the grass that Paulette has made me stitch over the years, that one was not too bad. It was probably the least amount of grass I've ever stitched for Paulette. Okay, next is Berry Cottage. I finished stitching this at the second retreat I went to. At Boxcar Quilts, I was invited by some friends to attend. I was kind of in shock because some of these people are famous Flosstubers and I'm over here living my life. But I was very glad to go and attend, met a lot of great people, had a lot of laughs. So here is my Berry Cottage. As you probably can tell, extremely different from the colors on the cover. So the colors that Paulette called for were very muted, and I did not want to stitch a muted Berry Cottage. So let me tell you a few details. So this is stitched on 40 count Tekla by Tropical Stitches. Thank you, Caitlin. She sent that to me. I love Tropical Stitches, and this was a joy to stitch on. I changed every single color except for the color of the sheep's gray, which was Muddy Puddle. And maybe black coffee was called for. I think I used black coffee. Who knows? But I used a lot of Color and Cotton and Roxy Floss Co. Yeah. And I absolutely love it. If you really want to know some colors, just leave a comment and I will do my darndest. I know the green was Bonsai from Color and Cotton. The other green was Barrel Cactus by Color and Cotton. I used Cherry Best by Roxy Floss Co. I used Dragon Fruit, from Color and Cotton. See, and there I have a black Color and Cotton too, and so I was wondering, it's called Featherweight, I think, and I used that. The two blues were Color and Cotton. The pink, I am not sure. I used Pretty Peppermint, I believe, by Roxy Floss Co. And loved every stitch. Oh, the white I used was called Popcorn by Color and Cotton, and it was similar to that other purple I used on Adorn Your Heart, where it was a special situation. So, sorry if you hear the dogs barking. Somebody clearly walked in front of our house. So, let me get you in close. And I did stitch that over one. Thank you, Lisa, for letting me borrow her magnifier. I did do tent stitch, except there was a couple places I didn't use tent stitch because I just thought it looked weird. But for the majority, I used tent stitch. And I survived, and I love it, and I will not stitch that little house ever again. Over one. On 40 count. Okay, so what happened was I finished Berry Cottage. I also finished Adorn Your Heart at the retreat. And I was itching for another finish. So I come home, and I'm like, what other Plum Street do I have? And how close am I to those for a finish? So I was close to Michelle's version of a finish on Penny Autumn. How cute is that? I did not end up stitching the border for two reasons. Number one, I love the border, but I don't know, I just didn't want to do that kind of border. And number two, I messed up. And so if I wanted to do it at the end, I would have had to do a lot of unstitching. And that wasn't going to happen. I did use the called for, except for Classic Colorworks Caramel. I didn't have that one, and I guess I didn't feel like ordering it, so I just used the DMC 642. So here's my finish. How cute is that? I love it, love it, love it. So this is on 40 count Thornfield by Needle and Flax. I loved every stitch, except when I figured out that I really messed up. Then I was kind of mad. So I love that house. And last time you saw this, I didn't have this part on the right, left. I'd stitched up to the house, and I don't think I had finished the star up here. And so I basically just had that little bit left to do, and I did it in a couple days. And here I am. So I did get some, so when I went to the peanut gallery yesterday, I did get some frames for those three pieces, so that way Lisa can help me frame those myself. So hopefully I don't F them up too bad, because then I'll be mad at myself. Okay, now my friends, we're on to whips. I have a lot of whips to show you. And I'm just calling my new starts. I'll talk about some of the new starts that have occurred since we last got together. And I will try to give you as many details as possible. So I have my bag o' bags over here. And I guess I can show you some bags. This first one is Rosemary Cottage by Thimble Blossoms, Camille Ross Kelly. So my first whip is Spring Moon. Let me show it to you. Spring Moon. Mine looks not much like this. In terms of colors, fabric, yeah. So let me show you mine. Put this back in the back. And I was just working on this morning, but I did manage to get it ironed. Let me just pull that down. Here she is. Oh boy, how beautiful. I am obsessed. So let me tell you some details. This is stitched on 40 count Ariel by Picture This Plus. It's this beautiful, beautiful sky blue. I'm telling you, if you wanted to have the sky be your fabric, this is the one, Ariel, A-E-R-I-A-L, Ariel. So, as you can see, I have foregone the blue. Not that I didn't like the blue. Navy blue is one of my favorite colors, but if you know me, and if you don't know me, welcome. I am a purple person. So I did my own conversion, and I am loving it so far. So what do I have left to do? Well, as you can see, I also changed the colors of that beehive. It was brown and gray, and I wasn't feeling that. So I changed it to the yellow that was in the pattern for the little bees that I haven't stitched yet. And then I took Lisa's DMC 676. So that was fun. If you want to know my conversion, if you're curious, it's kind of a mishmash of items. Just leave a comment and I'm happy to share that with you. So what do I have left? I have to do the other color on the house. I have to finish that grass down there. I've been working on those flowers. What I'm trying to do is every time I pick this up, I'll stitch a flower, or apparently half a flower. And then I can just leave the fill in. So I have to fill in the other color of the house. I have to finish the grass. And then there's one more flower over here. It's kind of a half flower, and then it'll go all the way down. I'm trying to save that for last, so that way I have some purple stitches left to put on here. Normally, that doesn't happen. Normally I get that house done and I leave the grass until last, but I'm trying, for some reason, not doing that. There are some little bees left to do as well, kind of sprinkled. I think there's one right here. There's one over here and one over here maybe. And then there's these random stitches that I have to put in that are white. So I'm really enjoying this. Really, really, really. This is gunning for a finish, people. Maybe I'll even post a picture of it on my Instagram. And I know some of you are thinking, fat chance, Michelle. I know. All right. Next. This is a new bag you haven't seen. This is Dainty Meadow by My So Quilty Live. I sewed this up, who knows when, but it's really lovely, and I love this bag. So, what project is in here? Let me take it out of the plastic. I was trying to be good and do that before. I did a lot to prep for this, but apparently not enough. So this is one of my birthday starts I did myself. Well, obviously I stitched it. What am I saying? This is one of my birthday starts. My sister gave me the MPI I asked for my birthday. I already had the pattern. And did I start this for my birthday? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because I saw my mom and my sister the weekend before. So this is A Fine House Indeed by La Dee Da. I haven't gotten super far because, as you can see, I've been distracted by the Plum streets. that's okay. So here she is. So this is on 40 count maple sugar by Lakeside Linen. You look at this and I'll look it up. Maple Sugar by Lakeside. Go, Michelle. I remembered. So this is with all the called for silks. I love a border. I love the border. I've gone all the way down to the bottom, and I did start the house because I was itching to start the house. Well, I did one of the chimneys, and then I started the outline of that big old roof. So thank you, Jessica, my sister, for my MPIs for my birthday. My birthday was in May 15th. So I'm looking forward to getting back to that. Okay, next bag. This is Cottage Charm, maybe, by also My So Quilty Life. Very cute. This is housing my other birthday start, which is The Earth Laughs by Brenda Gervais. I finished the autumn one. This is a series, and I finished the autumn one, I don't know, 2 seconds after it came out, and I could get my hands on it. And I have started the winter one, Peace and Goodwill. But I don't know if I'll get the summer one. If you've seen it, it's extra patriotic, which people love, and I love that for you. That's just not my style. So I have it on this giant piece of fabric because I haven't cut it down. Here's my little wimpy start. It was less than this, and then I pulled it out another day. So it's just that top left motif. This is on 40 count Dusty Road by Seraphim, using almost all the called for colors. The bird that's in there was a really gray blue bird, more gray than blue, and so I did change that color, and I'll talk about it when I get there. So looking forward to getting back to that. And that's the nice part about Brenda, is that her Quaker motifs, like this one, I've never seen one like this before with that flower in there. I love it. So there's that. Okay. Next is a Plum Street start, y'all. I was watching, so a lovely Flosstuber named Lizzie the Stitcher from New Zealand, shouted me out on Flosstube, and hi Liz. And so I watched her most recent episode. Amazing, beautiful, so inspirational. And then I'm like, I have 15 other episodes I can go and watch. So I went back and I started, I haven't caught up to all of them yet, but one thing that she stitched was this Happy Morning, and I had it all kitted up. This was one of the first things I had kitted up when I found about 1, 2, 3 stitch, when I started getting serious about my cross stitch, and this was one of the things I kitted up quick. And I actually ended up kitting up the black version, and I had this huge piece of 14 count chalkboard black A to cut. Well, there's no way I was going to survive stitching this honker on that, and so I had all the floss, I think, and I agonized over what fabric to stitch this on. I had a couple choices, and my creative director Lisa helped me pick it out. So this is my wimpy start. Part of it's because I have been distracted by my other Plum Streets, and so I haven't gotten back to this yet. But I do have a start, and I'm happy to show it. Here she is. Can you find it? So again, top left corner. I'm stitching this on 36 count Slate by Fabrics by Stephanie. Can't wait to have that done. Lisa, are you going to start this, ma'am? So I will get back to that, especially I'm on this Plum Street kick. Put it back in her bag. Okay, oh, I guess I'll show you this bag. I think I've shown this one before. This is a Callie & Co. bag, Callie & Co. by Coriander Quilts. One of my favorite designers. Okay, next is another start. I was bored, I guess, one day and thought, hey, I guess I need a start. So I had gotten this kitted up from Stitch Niche, and I just pulled it out one day and said, hey, I think I'm going to start this. It doesn't look too big, which I don't think it is, but I got distracted by other things. So this is Audi's Pink House by Fox and Rabbit. This might be my first Fox and Rabbit start. So I'm stitching this on 40 count Deer Valley by Count on Linens. I'm sure Brenda and Laura talked about them, and so I jetted over to pick a couple fabrics. I know I should be facing the microphone, shouldn't I? It's a light pink fabric, very, very, very light pink. I think you can see that okay. So like I said, I haven't done a ton. I got distracted, especially it was my birthday, was around the corner when I started this. But I had a good time, and I will finish it because I want to finish that house. I did change the house color, which doesn't mean anything because I haven't even gotten to the house. It was sanguine, and I changed it to Charlotte's Pink by Weeks Dye Works. And look, I made a new bag, new style of bag. So I made this Hemingway pouch. Oh, let me get some of these floss pieces out of here. Mom and I made a couple years ago a bag by Knot and Thread called All the Things Tote. And what you do is you quilt a whole yard of fabric, and this was part of the leftovers. And I hadn't done anything with it all this time. Well, I made my friend Lisa the same bag, All the Things Tote, for her birthday. And I was like, hey, maybe I'll make one of those Hemingway pouches, but I wanted to practice, so I made myself one first. Didn't come out perfect, but it looks great when you're on the back of a galloping horse. Okay, next is Strawberry Mountain by Jessica Jet X Stitch. I don't know how to say her last name. I'm sorry, Jessica. So I pulled this out for one, maybe two stitching sessions, and I tried to pull it out the other day for Strawberry Moonsal, and I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. But I was feeling it one day, 2 days. I think I finished this motif right here, and then I did start a little bit of the main bit. So this is on 40 count Cinnamon, I think, by Be Stitch Me. It's not the called for fabric, but it looks very similar in my opinion. And it's lovely to stitch on. The design is amazing. If I'm good, I'll get Erin to put it up here. If not, just go look it up on Etsy. And you might have to buy it because it's freaking beautiful. So, stitched on that for a day or two. Okay, then a couple of videos. Sully Stitches, Tara, was showing a bunch of finishes from Autumn. And I was like, oh, I love Autumn. Maybe there's something I can go work on. So I went to my whips and decided I needed to stitch on this for a minute. So this is, I already forgot, Autumn's Bouquet by my girl Brenda G, with that needle and thread. And I'm stitching this on, I believe, Hot Cocoa by Be Stitch Me, with the called for, except for the gray. The main gray, they didn't have it Stitch Niche at the time, so I'm using something else. Sorry. If you want to know, just leave a comment. Okay, so I didn't have a ton done on this last time, but I have a whole squirrel. Look at him. Look at that squirrel. He looks so happy. So I worked on this a few days and then put it away. So that's it. Sometimes Brenda is kind of fiddly sometimes in terms of color changes and counting a lot. Sometimes I'm in here for that and I'm in the mood for it. And lately, I have not been. But I will finish this little squirrel and he will look great. He's in my squirrel bag. Ow, I just stabbed myself with that needle. Okay, Let's see. I'm sure I had something else to tell you about Autumn's bouquet, but it has left my brain. Okay, another new bag I made was this cute little cutie. This little house is, it's a poppy cotton line. Oh, it's by Elia Lutz. She was one of my favorite fabric designers when I was in college, and then she stopped designing fabric for a while. Now she's back. Yay! So there's some cute little strawberries on the lining. This is just a little pink zipper. These houses are adorable. So yeah, this is another new start. I started this after Hobby House was over while Mom and I were still in New York. So let me say some things. I don't know how much I have told you about what I do for a living. I teach math at a local higher education institution. And one of the classes I was teaching, the students had to give presentations. And of course, we scheduled the presentations the week I'm supposed to go to Hobby House, which not a big deal, but it's like Thursday afternoon. So they give their presentations. They all did great. I was very happy. And so then what happens was Friday morning, Mom and I get up at the crack of dawn, hop on a plane to New York. The retreat starts that day. We were chipper as all get out, let me tell you. We flew to Florida from Texas to get to New York. Doesn't that make sense? Not so much in my mind. But anywho, so had a great time, met Paulette and Beth Twist. I had met Beth at the Autumn Abundance retreat that I had attended last November at the attic, and so she was lovely as always. And okay, so I had no idea what Paulette looked like. Like, I follow her on Instagram, but I don't know if I've just missed more personal posts or something from her. And so some lady was over there setting up all the bottles, and she has this long, lovely blonde hair. I just figured she was a worker. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyways, after my brain activated, figured out who she was. She was lovely as well. And I did get a picture with her. Maybe I'll get Erin to include that. So Paulette will never watch this video, but hello, Paulette. And so the retreat was lovely, did lots of shopping, and one of the things that I ordered was this, Hope by Shakespeare's Peddler. And I ended up not fully kitting it up there, but they did have, so they didn't have all the threads, but they did have a lot. And I started this the last day. So another random story from our journey was Mom and I were staying at, not the main hotel because we were too slow. We were staying at like the Hampton Inn or something like that. And Brooke was leaving on Saturday, I believe. She was leaving Sunday. We were leaving Monday. And so she had come to our hotel to kind of rearrange her suitcase a little bit. So Mom gets on her bed from the other side of the bed that she had never gotten on. And when she did that, the bed goes like, so clearly some support on that side was missing. So Mom is in a little bit of a panic, and I'm like, what is happening? So we call the front desk, we tell them what's happened. And so Mom and I are kind of both concerned she could roll over and roll right off the bed, poor thing. So they end up moving our room for one night, but oh well. And they ended up moving us to a suite, which was really nice because we had a little couch that we could sit on and stitch. And I think we watched some Harry Potter movies. So anyways, during that time in the suite, I started this project, and I'm not even clipping, I'm just rambling. So I decided to stitch this on 40 count old linen by XJew. See if you can see that. So I have done a little bit, and I mainly did this that one day. I had to order some of the threads, and they have come in, I don't know, a month ago. And I just haven't picked it back up as much. I love stitching that little barn. That was really fun. And I really like how the colors pop off. And I am using all the called for colors so far. There she is. And I since I was able to see the fabric in person, I did look at it and say, I can see those holes. And so I got the 40 count. Sometimes it's hard, especially now that the stitch niche is gone, that you can't see fabric in person. And so sometimes when it's dark, I would hate to buy a piece of 40 count and not be able to see it and then not want to stitch on it. So that's okay. All right, next is, and I haven't picked this up in probably a month, is Put a Bird on It by Modern Folk Embroidery. One of my favorite designers. I got this at the attic, as you can see, and I am using my own colors. I'm stitching this on, I think it's green tea, but by Color and Cotton. And I'll talk about what I've done since last you saw it. So there she is. Yay. I think I'm unintentionally keeping up with the Sal, maybe. I don't know, Jem, what do you think? So I know I finished this motif last time, and then I did this motif, and then I started the big one in the middle. So I'm using my own colors. I got the Belle Soie silks at the attic when I was there. And I am, instead of the blues, I'm using purples, and instead of the orangey color, I'm using a gold. So if you want to know what colors, just let me know. 40 count. Green tea, Color and Cotton. I remember I wanted to start it at the attic, but there wasn't a fabric that I was really wanting, and so I went home and picked that out of the stash. Okay, the last WIP is Thy Love More Strong by Blackbird Designs. And Blackbird right now is it's not it for me. I love this, and I do want to stitch it. I started this with Contented Needleworker Kim, or she was stitching it, and I was like, hey, I'm going to stitch that too. And she's long finished, and I'm not. Blackbird is just, with all the color changes, it is really not calling my name right now. I tried to get this out the other day with those other strawberry stitches and folded it right back up and put it into the bag. But at one point I did work on it. So I am using the called for colors, and I'm trying to think of what I ended up working on. I think I finished the pot, and I started this house situation over here. Maybe I stitched that, and I know I stitched some of these little doodads as well, so that way I could count down to the house. So I'm stitching this on 40 count Vintage Straw Flower, maybe just regular straw flower, by Lakeside Linen. So this is as wide as it's gonna be. I just haven't done that top border, finished it yet. So I have a ways to go. And honestly, I mean, I'm here for the house, let me be clear. So I will stitch down to the house, but will I stitch the rest? To be determined. But I really do want to stitch this pot, and I love this kind of bird right here. It to me looks like a parrot. So I don't know. We'll see how far I get into this. And I do love the other projects too. Like, I would really like to stitch that, even though I've already stitched that pot one time. And I really love this project as well. So I would love all of those to live in my house one day. So that's where I'm at. Like I said, fiddly stitching just ain't doing it for me right now. Or color changes, I suppose. Because my other strawberry WIP is Strawberry Fields Forever by Blackbird Designs, and I stitched about 20 stitches on that the other day, so I didn't even get it back out. Sorry. If I stitch more on it, I'll bring it out next time. But, so, those are all the WIPs, people. Those are all the WIPs. Sorry, hairball. Okay. Well, let me take a drink. And I'm going to talk about some Plum Street. That is where I've been living my life. I want to stitch all the Plum Street. I want to purchase all the Plum Street. I want them all. And so I don't I don't tend to make a lot of plans. Even birthday starts, I was like, will I start this? Will I not start this? Who knows? So, let me grab my bag right here. Pardon me. Here's the bag. I feel like Laura. I did meet Brenda and Laura at the Hobby House retreat. My two things. I had met Beth, and Beth is amazing, but I really want to meet Brenda and Laura, and I really wanted to meet Paulette. And I did both of those things. So, I'm very happy about that. So, like I said, I don't have any plans, partially because I'm in this stage, I guess, where I want to pick up a project and stitch it till it's done. If you look at my very sad book that I've been keeping track of, is I've been stitching on one thing and then it gets done and then I put it away. Very rarely it seems that I'm jumping around and stitching on multiple things in the same day. That could change, today. But for now, I'm happy with it. All right, first we're gonna have a Plum Street Palooza, and we're gonna have a chart parade, and I'm gonna show you all the things I have kitted up, ready to go. Some which may surprise you. So, in no particular order, I have Sampler House 6. I don't want to take them out of the packages. I love that house, and it's Christmas, and I love Christmas. This, I'm really itching to stitch. I've seen Jordan, the tattooed stitcher, work on it. I think Bernadette has started it as well. This is the Gather In by Plum Street. I love that big old yellow, LOL, white barn. And it's fall, which is where I live my life. Merry Friends. I think this is super cute. I think Caitlin gave this to me, a Stitch for Mom. Thanks, Caitlin. Oh, I was stitching Berry Cottage with Caitlin, a Stitch for Mom, and I'm sure I was going to talk about that, and I didn't. And Caitlin, ma'am, you need to get back to it, sister. I'm just kidding. Okay, this is really calling my name. Real Comfort. I don't have a single lick of thread for this, but I really want to stitch this. I even want to stitch those words because the words are, there is nothing like staying home for real comfort. And I live my life at home. I do not like to go too many places. I love being at home. I love being with my husband and our dogs and sitting right here in my spot, which I'm sure a lot of you can understand. So then I have summer salt boxes. I stitched the winter salt boxes 2 winters ago, and I want to stitch all of them. Oh, Cinnamon Stars. Who gave me this? Lisa. Black Coffee and Grits. And Caitlin just finished hers, a Stitch for Mom, so race over there and go look at her amazing finish. Love it. Oh, Lisa gave me this too, Babushka's Blossoms. And as I apparently am also due a year of Plum Street after Bernadette, and she finished this, I need that big old pumpkin in my life. Look at that big old pumpkin. So I want to stitch that. Oh, and then another Goody Grimwood. I know Bernadette stitched this as well, but Caitlin is stitching on it, and yeah, it's good. I don't know how I feel about that lady riding the bird, but maybe she'll live on in this cross stitch with me. Okay, and then I got My Early Days at Hobby House. Look at that. I love that. Those crazy looking deer. The 4 dogs floating. There's 3 dogs. One dog is like hovering, just floating there. I love that. That would be my dog Lily. And I just love it. I don't know how I feel about those words. They may disappear, but Love it. Oh, I got this at Hobby House. Rest a While. I know Brooke showed this in her haul video. Brooke, are we gonna start that this fall? I have so many fall whips that I want to stitch, but I have kind of put some off to the side because I need to restart them. Oh, so remember that hello fall? Well, here's goodbye fall. And I want to stitch that. Obviously, they need to live right next to each other. Then I have Autumn Cottage, which I bought at Hobby House, and then I get home from Hobby House and Caitlin had sent it to me. So that ran to go live with Mom. I love it. And then also from Lizzie the Stitcher, Liz. And Celeste stitched this recently as well, and she did make some nice changes this joyous season. And I think Red Velvet Quilts is stitching this as well. So yeah, I love this. Probably won't stitch the words, but I love everything else. Okay, so those are my charts. So now let's look at some kits, shall we? So here's a bag I made from the Hey Boo. And I had gone through like this bin I have of Notion stuff, like floss drops, and stuff. And I got out all these little zipper pulls I had gotten from different retreats, and I started putting them on bags. Okay, so in here, as you can imagine, is a little bit of a Halloween situation. And this is where I found out about Caitlin, A Stitch for Mom, was all over Instagram. I was seeing this little Salem Mini Moon. Sorry, the bag does not want to open. And it was her. And I loved her colors, I loved her fabric, and so I 100% stole every little bit. And again, I am not into Halloween whatsoever. I don't like dressing up. I do like candy, but I don't like scary. I don't like spooky. I don't like any of it. But I love this little cauldron bubbling situation. I love the hat on the bunny. I love those pumpkins. The spiders don't really look like spiders. Are those spiders? They're spidery to me. So I stole every bit of my kit from Caitlin, and I have 38 count Fuller's Teasel by Legacy. I have Color and Cotton and random threads. So that might be happening. For some reason I haven't been stitching smalls. I don't know what it is. I just have not been doing it much. So there's that one. Next up, this is Jelly and Jam by Fig Tree. And it's going to be a surprise for all of us as to what's in here. Oh, I have Autumn Salt Boxes in here. Plum Street. Random threads. I don't have all of them, obviously. That's living in here. And I think Caitlin held this up the other day too. Sample House 4. And I have started kitting that up. I don't have fabric, but I have some threads. Some fall stuff. Alright, and then I have, this is I don't remember what this fabric line was called. It's Corey Yoder. Peaches and something. Sorry. And this will surprise you. Well, first I have Tomato Hill. Caitlin sent this to me. Thank you, Caitlin. I was dying. I saw Bernadette finish this at Hobby House. Jordan the Tattooed Stitcher was working on it as well, and she's since finished it. And I have a bunch of the threads. I picked this for the fabric. I know, how lovely is that? Cafe Latte, L-A-I-T, by Fiber on a Whim. That's my fabric. I think that's the called for. But I'm doing 40 count. Yeah, that's the called for. Okay. Also in this bag, is There Is Liberty. So I do have 2 patriotic-esque stitches. Look at those 1 million threads. A lot of it is DMC, which is kind of nice. So my plan is to basically stitch the houses down. Mom had said, hey, you should make that a drum. Maybe I'll make it a drum. Definitely not stitching those words. The dove is kind of interesting. I know it's a religious symbol, but I love the houses, and I do love that grass. And those trees that look like quilt stars, stop it. Just stop it, people. So I have a color and cotton solo die that I have that I was going to stitch that on. Then the other one is Flag Thief. I bought this as a kit from Country Sampler for a few reasons. One was Katie Strachan was stitching it last year, and I thought I really like that. She has done her own silk conversion, and I think I'm going to, I don't have her silks, but I'm going to stitch it the same way that she has stitched it. She has really simplified the background. She didn't stitch the flag. She didn't, although those little eagles are kind of cute. But she has really taken out a lot of the, she didn't do the flag. So yeah, I think I'm going to stitch it like she did, but I don't have her conversion. I just have the called for, and it's on 40 count affogato. And when I was at Hobby House, one of our table mates, Sue, stitched this in like 2 weeks. She's a little speedster, and it was beautiful. So I have those as well to do. Okay, a couple other ones. Oh, I think I have shown this before, but I'll show it again. Spring has sprung. I do still want to stitch this. I have it kitted up. Look at that giant bird. At Hobby House, somebody was stitching this. I don't know her name, but she was wearing a t-shirt that said SoCal Stitcher. So maybe that's her Flosstube. And it was lovely. I have it on this Fawn Pale by Color and Cotton. Love it. I really need to start this so I can reclaim the rest of this fabric. Okay, let me tell you another story from Hobby House. Okay, I can speak in front of large groups of people. Some of my classes have 150 students in them now, but what am I talking to them about? Mathematics. And things that I have taught many a year, fairly confident at explaining and having a conversation with students about. And so let me tell you what I'm not confident talking about is my Flosstube in front of 300 people. So at the Hobby House retreat, it was like the last night or something, they had done door prizes, and I think before the door prizes, David was like, oh, we're all here because we watch Flosstube, because we love Brenda and Laura. And so they were like, oh, if you have a Flosstube, please come up here and tell us your name and what your Flosstube name is and blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you what I wasn't going to do, was get up in front of 300 strangers and talk about my Flosstube. So if you're here, welcome. Oh my God, another story. I'm so sorry. So I was at Hobby House and I was checking out at the shop, and this lovely lady came up to me and said, I watch your Flosstube. It was a stranger, let me be clear. I watch your Flosstube, love your Flosstube. And I meant to go find her later and take a picture with her, but I didn't do that. So if you are back watching, if you haven't unsubscribed because this video is a feature-length film, please leave a comment and let me know what your name is. First and foremost, I should have asked your name. I'm so sorry. I think I was so taken aback that I was confronted in the wild, I suppose. I couldn't believe it. Anyways, thank you so much for your lovely comment and in person, and for knowing my hair was up, so I'm sure that's how she recognized me. But thank you. I couldn't believe it. Okay, Now, two fairly imminent starts, I believe. I'm trying to finish Spring Moon here. Caitlin and I are going to work on Comfort and Joy in July. I'm trying to stitch Christmas in July. I did that last year and really enjoyed it. I'm not promising anything, I suppose, but if Caitlin's working on it and I see her working on it, then I'll want to work on it. And I have some done. Like I said, I'm sorry I didn't bring that. I'll show it next time. So an imminent start is Blackberry House, y'all. Yeah, I'm here for it. I kitted it up at Tinsmith's Wife. And who have I seen working on this? Phoebe of Moonshine Stitchery finished it. Amazing. I think I saw Handmade by Sarah W. was working on hers. Amazing. Love it. This is in my future. As you can probably imagine, what am I not going to stitch? So I'm going to take out the alphabet at the bottom. I'll still leave those little berries down there. And I don't think I'm going to stitch the year. I think I'm going to take these little birds and berries and put them right where that year was. That's kind of my plan. So I love this. I love this so much. I keep thinking about it, and the more I think about it, the more I want to start it. And I have it kitted with a piece of 45 count Legacy Hazy Summit. It's like a white gray. So I got that at the Tinsmith's Wife. And I have all the colors. Looky there. Doesn't that look great? Okay. Oh, let me show this. I think I've shown this before too. Penny Spring. I have it all kitted up. I'm trying to remember what that fabric was. I think it's a 36 count. And this one I actually might stitch the border because I like the pink. I think the pink is really cute. I just wasn't feeling that other border. And part of my usual situation is I have to figure out my stitch pattern. And once I figure that out, you can get me going, no problem. And I think I just didn't want to put in the effort to maybe figure out my stitch pattern for that. Who knows? But I really want to stitch that house. I love the fox in the tree is funny. I don't know what I'll do. Maybe I'll stitch that flag. Who knows? But there's that. Okay, and the other one I just kitted up the other day because of Bernadette is Cotton Bird. She had mentioned this in a previous video, and I ordered this. Or I asked Aaron to get this for me for my birthday, and he did. So I have done a conversion because I didn't have many of the colors. I'm going to stitch this on, okay, also at Hobby House they had a trunk show, I believe, of Grace Notes fabrics, and I loved this fabric, but they didn't have it in 40 count, and you're like, wow, Michelle, that looks very similar to Ariel. It's blue. It's called Agua Fresca, and so I ordered it from them on 40 count, and it is a blue, but it's not a sky blue. It is a gray blue. Maybe that's the right words. I don't know, Lisa. What do you think? So I'm going to stitch it on this, and then these are my colors. So I think they'll be lovely. There's like a couple reds. Like the red in the flowers is Cherry Cobbler, and then the other one is something else. Persimmon maybe. And so I'm going to use Raspberry Puree for Cherry Cobbler and Medium Princess by Color and Cotton for Persimmon. So I've really kept with the flavor of it, just I'm doing it on blue. Okay, so Aaron Burt. Everything that he has told me to work on, I have been gunning for a finish. Finished Coffee and Eggs, and last time he told me to work on Adorn Your Heart. So I'm going to pause, put a couple things away, and we're going to have him pick another stitch. Okay? Oh, no, just kidding. What am I saying? let's talk quilting for about 5 seconds. So let's talk about the quilt behind me. As you can see, popsicles. Sorry, adorn your heart, you're out of here. Popsicles. So I made this quilt a couple years ago. I finished it at Boxcar Quilts. I remember putting the top together there. I had this was a Fat Eighth bundle I had bought at QuiltCon, my first QuiltCon. And it's Heather Ross fabrics. I love these little strawberries. There's strawberries and gingham and some flowers. The gold is a gold linen, sparkly. And then the background I just had in my stash. It was this lovely purple. The backing is hilarious. I found this on Etsy after I finished the quilt top. They're little popsicles with faces. And then I bound it in this gingham check. So that's the quilt of the video here. I'm sure you've been waiting the whole time for that. I have been actually doing some quilting and not just making bags. I have, as you can see, made a few bags. I made Lisa an All the Things tote, excuse me. If I'm good, I'll get Erin to put a picture in. So I did take a picture before I gave it to her. So I made that. And I made her a Hemingway pouch as well out of the same fabric. I didn't take a picture of that, sorry. And I made a Bitsy box, which is just a little teeny tiny box. She showed it in her video, so go look at hers. So I did make that. I did make some other stuff. Okay, so I've talked a fair amount about Hobby House. Also, I went to a retreat at Boxcar Ranch, I guess is the right word, in Aubrey, Texas. And I think I mentioned this before, but I met a lot of lovely people, and I love a local retreat. Not that Hobby House wasn't great, and there was 300 people there, and it was, really cool. But as I said, I'm a homebody, and where I love to live my life is in small groups. I'm happy to get together with one person, 2 people, maybe 3 people. There's 24 of us there. You know what? I think there was really 23 as I'm thinking of the empty tables. So I got to reconnect with Celeste from Celeste Creates. She is a delight. Got to meet Kim, the Contented Needleworker Kim, while I was there. She was lovely as well to meet in person. And can't name everybody, but Wanda and Merritt, they were a delight. Met the Sable Stitchers, Lenny and Roberta. And at my table was me, Katie, So Tattered, Lisa, Black Coffee and Grits, Brooke, Stitch by the Brook, Krista, Wildflower Stitcher, Lisa, L Snaps, and then Krista's mom was at the other end. And it was just a lovely time of fellowship. I met Jan, Hoop It Up with Jan. She just posted a video today, so I'm really excited to go watch that. Krista posted another video as well. I need to go watch the Sable Stitchers. Laurel, I'm a stitch nerd. I met her. She was really funny, and I loved her accent. I'm trying to think. Shelly, Renee, Prairie Stitcher. Did I make that up? Renee was really funny because as we were leaving, she looks at me and she says, I don't think I bugged you enough at this retreat. So she was really sweet and really funny. But I really got to, I don't know if Katie wanted this, but I really got to chat with Katie of So Tattered a lot and got to know her a lot better and connect with her. And that was really a highlight for me. And, I hope she's okay with that because she's my friend now. So I'm not quite sure where I was going with that. Oh, Boxcar Quilts. Okay, here I am connecting the dots here. So I've been to Boxcar Quilts many times for quilt retreats, and then last year I went to Chatterbox, and this year I went to that friend retreat, and I am going back to Chatterbox in July. Looking forward to that. And that'll be a good time. So more quilting. Okay, so I finished that at Boxcar a long time ago. Mom, this quilt I think is quilted in bounce. We were just thinking about quilting patterns for the quilt that I finished. I'll see if Erin will put a picture up here. Oh, I have the book. Where's the book? Here it is. Look at me, prepared. This is Fruit Salad by Big Tree Quilts, Joanna Figueroa. And I was working on this quilt right here, Blueberry Pie. So I had done the blocks I had done the blueberry blocks a couple years ago. I had started the flowers, so I finished the flowers a couple weeks ago. Then I had to do all these flying geese, and I put those together at a retreat day that Lisa and I went to with my sister and some other friends of ours, and I finally put the borders on the other day and pieced the back. So I gave that to Mom yesterday, and we were talking about Bounce, this quilting pattern, as the quilt, and she was like, I've used that on some of yours before, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't remember which ones. So I think we used it on this one, so that was fun. So I did Michelle Burt Can Piece of Quilt Top. It's just been a long time. So I am thinking about, and this was my goal for the summer, was to finish this quilt top. So I did that, check mark. So maybe I can set myself another goal of finishing another quilt top. I have some baby quilts that the babies are not really any longer babies, but I can at least get them done. I think they're still babies. Yeah. So I could work on those. I don't know. Like I said, quilting has just not been really calling to me. Sitting next to Brooke at Chatterbox, or at the Friends Retreat, was very inspirational because she was working on a quilt. I've been chatting with Katie, and she's been inspirational. I told her I was quilting, and I texted her a picture of the sewing machine with some fabric around it, and she said, Michelle, you could have gotten that off of Google Image. And I said, yes, ma'am. So then I call Aaron. I'm like, Aaron, can you come take a video of me sewing? He didn't even question it. He just did it. Bless him. Sent that to her, so that was my picture proof. So if I do some more quilting, I'll let you guys know. I have lots of quilts done. They're just old. And that's okay. I'll get back to it. And if not, maybe I'll have a D-stash. Okay, now for reals. Let me put some of this away and clean up, and I'll get Aaron Burton here to pick a whip. Yeah? All right, be right back. You were in the shot. Okay, I'm back. And with the lovely Aaron Burt.
Thanks for having me once again.
Okay, babe. What you're going to do is apparently your words to my ears, to my hands. Because whatever you pick, I finish. So
It's a lot of power.
it is a lot of power. So we're going to have him pick the next, for the focus for him, that he wants me to work on. Let me use my words here. Okay, babe. So this is the first one. This is the project.
Okay.
That I love more strong.
Am I supposed to show the camera?
They already know, but you can show it if you want.
Okay. Okay.
And this is the whip. I'll show the people again, and then you can look at it.
You're off to a good start here.
I am.
I do like this one. I like all the birds on it.
There are a lot of birds.
Yeah. Big fan.
Big fan.
Big bird fan.
Next is put a bird on it.
Oh, it's looking good. It's looking good for birds today.
It is looking good for birds today. So here's a little bit.
Very nice.
You've probably seen this one before.
Yes, I do recognize this.
Yeah.
I think this appeared in a previous video.
It has.
All right.
Next is Autumn's Bouquet. It was a random day in my life.
Not a lot of birds on this one, but I still like it.
There's a little squirrel.
Yeah, I do like the squirrel.
Which I've already stitched.
Very nice. I like his little scarf.
Yeah, his scarf's pretty cute. I had a good time putting that in. Next is Hope. That's the finished result.
Very nice. Where's our whip for Hope?
Oh, here's our whip. I haven't done much on that one.
Okay. We got a decent start.
Do you like my little barn?
I do like the
Right
little
there.
barn.
Isn't that cute?
I like the little, are these apples? in the
They
border?
are tomatoes.
And I like the two spools of thread.
Yeah,
on there.
they're cute.
Very nice.
This one I don't have a picture. You're just gonna have to use your imagination. Strawberry Mountain. It like.
What is it? A butterfly?
I don't know. I think it's like a moth. Maybe it's a butterfly. I'll have to stitch another one on the other side.
What do you guys think this is? Is it a butterfly?
Butterfly?
Let us know.
Moth? Yeah.
Let us know in the comments.
I didn't question it. I just stitched it.
Yeah. If you like it, whatever it is.
Next is Audi's Pink House. Do you think that's how you say that?
Audis?
Yeah, Audi's.
Audis?
Audi's?
80s?
I don't know.
We'll go with Audis, like the car.
Like the car.
Mm-hmm.
There's my little teeny whip again.
Oh yes, this one's really coming along. As you can see, we're almost done. Might just pick that one so we can go ahead and wrap her up. Is that Audi's? Oh yeah, it's the
That's
tree.
Audi's. That's the tree.
Okay.
Okay, next is This Happy Morning. You'll love this start even more. I'm doing the black one.
Oh yeah, I like the sun in this one. Is that meant to be the sun?
I don't know. It's a quilt. It looks like a quilt block, but it's in the place of where the sun would be.
If it's open to interpretation, then my interpretation is it's the sun.
It's the sun.
And is this a peacock?
Yeah.
Okay, I do like
Next
that
to the
one.
barn. And here's my little.
Is that the whip for this one? I like the dark background.
Yeah, I do too.
Was this the prescribed color scheme, or did you pick this?
No, I'm using what they prescribe. They like have two versions on here. This is the light one and this is the dark one up here, and I'm doing the dark one.
Okay.
Then we have The Earth Laughs. Haha.
Very nice. I like the basket of fruit on top of the house.
Yeah, I do
Giant
too.
basket of fruit.
Mm-hmm. Here's my little start on that one.
Okay.
The people have seen it.
Very nice.
And then we have A Fine House Indeed.
A fine house indeed. Yeah, I like the checker pattern on this one.
Yeah, I do too. I haven't done much on the house on this one yet. I started one of the chimneys.
Yeah. I like the text at the top between the chimneys and the border.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, that's not going to be on mine.
You're not doing that?
No.
What if I say you are?
You can stitch that one.
What? Maybe I will.
And then, of course, my obsession. You don't have to pick this one because I know I'll finish it, but...
I do like this one a lot.
Yeah.
I like the moon.
That's good.
And the skinny rabbit. And the tall beehive.
Mm-hmm.
This one's very stylized. I like it.
There you go. That one you don't have to pick because I'll finish it. But you can pick it, I guess.
Okay. And to refresh my memory, I'm picking the one that you're trying to finish next.
No, that just seems to be what happens. But...
What am I actually doing?
You're just picking one for me to work on some more.
I think I like them all, but I think I actually would like to see this one finished next.
Well, that will probably be my next finish, so...
Yeah, should I pick another since...
Yeah, pick a backup.
You're making such good progress on this one already. Okay. My runner-up,
Oh boy.
even though I like them all, is I like how this one is coming along. I like the design with the sun, or perhaps the moon, if you pick night mode. I like that you went night mode. I don't see you do a lot of these dark background ones.
No. They're harder to stitch on.
I realize you've barely started, but you have in fact started. But this one I'm excited to see.
Okay.
So you don't have to finish it, but I
That's
select
good.
that one for some progress sometime.
Okay. Thanks.
Get to work.
Oh, wow. Yes, sir. Well, so as I mentioned before, I teach at a local higher education institution, so I'm off for summer, so I have lots more time to stitch. So that's why I have made good progress on some things. So.
Someone's got to.
Someone's got
It's
to.
not gonna be me.
Not gonna be Aaron. That's okay. We'll keep you anyways. Are you gonna?
Yeah. Normally I would show what I've been working on here, but I have not made progress on my whip. That is the crochet turtle, I'm afraid. So you'll have to forgive me, and I'll have to come to you with something exciting next time. But for this week, I need a rain check.
Yeah, that's okay. He got sick. He's been busy at work. I think he went on a trip too.
Just life things.
Life.
You guys know how it is.
Life be lifin', as my students say.
Mm-hmm.
I said that to them one time, and they're like, Miss Burt, we would never say that. And I'm like, I swear I've heard one of you say that.
No, kids these days are saying things like bussin'.
I don't know what that means.
It's like you're doing good.
Oh, okay.
I think. I'm not gonna act like I actually know.
I don't know either.
They will be like, you're bussin' on this one. Like, you're doing good. You're doing it. You're making good progress.
I'm bussin'.
Yeah. Or I think it also can mean like you like it.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
this is bussin'.
All right.
Or like you're bussin'.
Should I try to use that in a sentence later?
I don't know. I'm not sure that our audience knows any more about the slang than we do. But if we're using bussin' or other words wrong, throw it down in the comments and let us know.
Leave us a bus emoji.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for all your feedback on the editing of the videos. You guys are a really kind community, and I can tell we're being very careful not to hurt my feelings. But you won't. I really want to know what you do and don't like. For example, y'all really kindly let me know that the music was too loud and too repetitive. So that's the kind of feedback I'm looking for. I still feel like some kind of soft music fits in these videos. So as you can tell, I tried something different here. Let me know if that worked. And then I tweaked the intro and the outro this week. So keep that feedback coming, and we will continue to tweak this to, I guess, really our liking, but we care what you guys think too.
We do.
So.
We do. We care about the people. Okay, well, you're going to help me close it out here?
Yeah. What do you say when you close out?
I don't know. I just say goodbye. I say happy stitching, everyone.
Yeah, once again, thanks for joining us. Happy stitching. Keep on
Stitching. All right, bye. Thanks for watching.